to thank you and Senator Kelly to rejoin us. Senator Kelly, thank you not only for rejoining us, but also again for inviting the Mayor Romero to come and testify.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mayor Romero, another issue that I regularly raise on this committee is the challenge of PFAS contamination. We spoke about it yesterday in my office, and most of the PFAS contamination in Arizona is in our groundwater, in aquifers. And that poses a special challenge in our state, and especially in Tucson, because groundwater is our backup supply. That's after the Colorado River. So Mayor Romero, can you briefly explain where Tucson gets its water from and how important a backup supply of water is given the cutbacks on the Colorado River?
Thank you, Senator, for your leadership in really putting PFAS on the map, especially in this bipartisan infrastructure law. Most of our PFAS contamination in Arizona is in our groundwater, in our aquifers. We are a sole source aquifer, which means that we get our water, our secondary supply of water, because our primary supply of water is from Central Arizona Project, which is the Colorado River water. Secondary source of water is our aquifer, and it's a closed aquifer. That means that it doesn't discharge to rivers or an ocean to clean and remediate the PFAS from the water. It's not a recycling system. And so we have to literally take our aquifer water and remediate it from PFAS. And that is what has been taking our funds, right? We're spending $1 million a year. We spent almost $50 million in remediating PFAS, and our ratepayers did not cause this issue. So with the drought, the 22-year drought that we're living in Arizona, the less access to Colorado River water, the more dependent the city of Tucson becomes on our aquifer water, on our secondary source. And if it is contaminated with PFAS, that makes much less availability. Right now, we're not using 10% of our water supply because of PFAS contamination. So it's incredibly important. The work that this committee did to include PFAS remediation and access to it to cities like Tucson, Arizona, because it really is our source of being able to continue to thrive as a city.
And yesterday we were talking about how the plume in the aquifer, the PFAS plume, is mobile.
Is moving.
It's moving, and we got to get ahead of it.
Yes.
And that these funds in the infrastructure bill allows us to fund that remediation effort to head it off at the pass there, to say. Yeah, we got a lot to work to do, and I want to continue to work with you, and we'll work with the EPA on this to make sure everything is in place to deal with this issue. On another issue that I raise in this committee often is finishing transportation issue, finishing Interstate I-10, actually expanding it between Phoenix and Tucson, goes down to 2 lanes for 25 miles. Every day there's an accident that causes a backup in excess of an hour. The Arizona Department of Transportation has applied for a mega projects grant, which we created in the bipartisan infrastructure law to widen this 25-mile stretch and better connect our 2 population centers. In a remaining time here, Mayor, from Tucson's perspective, what are the advantages of expanding I-10 and improving the flow of people, goods, services between our 2 major cities?
Thank you for your leadership on both the PFAS issues and this issue, Senator. For Tucson, it is extremely important to be able to have access to the largest city in our state. There are commuters going back and forth from Phoenix to Tucson, and the delay that it's a primary connectivity. The delay that accidents on that stretch of Interstate 10 cause the flow of goods and services between our cities, the first and second largest city in the state, is very cumbersome, especially because we share the road with semi-trucks, and that becomes another delay issue of supply chain services. And so we are looking forward to additional leadership from you in terms of the work that you've done with the possibility of Amtrak connecting commuters from Phoenix to Tucson, because that way we can remove single passenger cars from I-10 so that we could see that goods and services flow better. So thank you so much, Senator.
Yeah, Tucson's the 33rd biggest city in the country. You know, Phoenix, I think, fourth or fifth biggest, and we've got to resolve these problems. And it's not only 25 miles of 2 lanes, but there's also no feeder or access road. So when there is an accident, you have hundreds of cars often that are just stuck there for hours. And there are, you know, major manufacturers of renewable energy, technology, even electric cars, and this potentially could, you know, shut down their production line. So it's good for Arizona, it's good for individuals, and it's good for companies, and safety as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator.